Recording started. Okay, so it looks like we are live, y'all. So hopefully you got my post today for our Abs by April live broadcast. So the way the live broadcasts work, you have to gain access to Google Meets. It's free. These meetings are free. They're broadcasted every week on Tuesday at noon o'clock. Boom. And right now it's noon o'clock. I try to get on a little bit early so I can host. At any rate, this is a free program. So all of my Muscle Factory members, you have free access to this broadcast, and then some adjustments that we're making moving forward with Abs by April. So if you've been able to get on and sign in to Abs by April, and you've probably noticed in the past there's some kind of stipulations. Essentially, what we want everybody to be able to experience is a transformation, and not just of sorts. We want you to have a great experience, gaining results in health and fitness. As the host of this whole program, of the business, as the owner of Muscle Factory USA, but as well as the owner of Functional Health Consultants and a licensed, certified physical therapist, which I'm trying to recalling to 10 years ago, whether or not we're allowed to call ourselves board certified. I mean, you sit for a board to be able to get your license, but at any rate, I am a certified licensed physical therapist. And so I bring to the table quite a bit more knowledge, experience, education, educational background, and to this whole program, to the whole business model. And so I like to think that I have a little extra to give. And so that's some of the added benefits that I bring to Abs by April. So you'll notice I'm managing and running this broadcast, and so I'll jump on and things pop up every once in a while. I also think a little bit in Spanish, and so de vez en cuando estar hablando en español. And so every once in a while I'll start speaking in Spanish. So hopefully I don't do that, but at any rate, that's why. So Abs by April, I'm still trying to cut out all the ums and all the filler words and all of those things. So I apologize for that as we get going. If you're watching this live, you're watching it live. If you're not watching it live, then you should receive a YouTube link in your email. So this is being recorded, and then there's a transcript and everything that's being built out so that you can read through the comments or whatever, the things that I say. And I believe there's supposed to be closed captioning. There's the closed captioning. I think it's trying to build that out as we go along. So I'll try to speak as clear as I can so that you can understand me. But if not, you should be able to broadcast the video. And then if you can't use sound because you're at work or you're driving, or, well, I guess if you're driving, you'd be listening, not reading words. So anyways, let's get going. So right off the bat, let's do some housekeeping. So with Abs by April, I'm learning a lot about videography and all of this business. So Abs by April is a fitness transformation program and accountability program for our Muscle Factory members. People who are not members of Muscle Factory USA can still participate. It costs $20 to be able to get into the program, and then you're in the program. So it is Abs by April. You get a weekly broadcast with me, which is direct interaction. If you get on the live broadcast, you can ask questions. There's a comments deal down on the bottom right of your screen. There should be a pop-up deal that it looks like like from the cartoons. It's got the little comment box. You can get on there and you can write comments, and I can see them live right here on my screen. So if you get on live, like right now, nobody is on. So as we get this going, as we get more people interested and involved, that should hopefully fill up, and maybe fill up with questions, whatever. So, anyways, okay. So as by April, Fitness Transformation Challenge. This is part. I'm going to talk about this in just a minute. A little bit more about the program, because that's some of the things that we're revamping already with the program that we've noticed we need to revamp. We'll get into the nutrition planning as well. Right here off the bat, we've already talked a lot about this. Essentially, we want to be able to do Q&A within the broadcast, as well as provide insights into everything that is health and fitness. And so that's what this weekly broadcast is built out to do, is to give you a little bit of a better edge just hearing it on a weekly basis, being able to interact within the broadcast. We are live noon on Tuesdays. So if you need a little bit of extra insight into health and fitness, which everybody does, I'm always learning. And so I always encourage everybody else to be learning. If you think that you know, then you're just dead wrong. Most of your intellectual individuals, people who have advanced in knowledge and understanding, they get to a point where you understand that, like, the more you know, the more you know you don't know. And so, and fitness is no different, and as we age, those processes change as well. And you have to change and morph your fitness goals and aspirations to meet the demands of your aging process. And so there's so many things. You're not going to train powerlifting if you're going to let's see, powerlifting is such a powerful tool, but if you're going to be a sprinter or a long distance runner, maybe you're not doing powerlifting in the way that a powerlifter who's going out for national powerlifting records is going to powerlift. And so I think that everybody should be lifting weights. That's a personal belief. I think that everybody needs to build more healthy tissue, muscle, and the best way to build muscle is to be lifting weights. And so there's a lot of ways to do that. So, okay, so weekly broadcast, check. Let's jump right back into the program. Some of the things that we're revamping with Abs by April is building out a program for the individual. So what we've got is a built-out program for each individual that signs up. And so you'll be given this program, and we'll be emailing that out to anybody that signs up, signs into the program. You'll get the program. The way this is going to work, because I've experienced, so I've participated in transformation programs. I've participated in different lifting regimens, exercise regimens, for 12 weeks, for 16 weeks, for 4 weeks, for whatever. And there's a common thread that is problematic in the attainment of health and fitness and wellness. And that is that everybody wants every single day to be so different. And the problem with that is that actual results and gains are not attained in that way. When you slice and dice it, there is a powerful success that is built into the boredom that is going in and doing the same thing over and over and over again. And so this program may not sound extensive, but it'll be built out to the end of March, so that in April you're built ready for Abs by April, right? So that's kind of the goal. We've had this program already built out, but what I'm explaining to you is most programs will give you something new every single day for 12 weeks. And while that sounds and looks at face value like something that's awesome because you're getting something new every single day, and I love it because it keeps my interest, because it's new and it's edgy and it's every single day it's a different thing. And that sounds great at face value. It's actually not productive. It's not as effective as it may sound at face value. part of the program with Abs by April is not just a beginning picture and an end picture, but composition understanding. So your weight at the beginning, your weight at the end, right? Knowing some measurements, your waist measurement, okay, for one, your quad measurement, your arm measurement, all of these things, so that at the end you can say, oh, well, look at my quads, they got bigger, or they got more toned, or they got the composition that we actually want. And so that's part of it. The other part of it is the actual functional gains, the actual improvements with squat, bench, deadlift, push, pull, carry, those types of things that carry over to the rest of life. And so that's what makes Abs by April with Muscle Factory USA quite a bit more unique and different than any other program that you're going to see out there. Because, and this is me being edgy and new and different, because we're staying consistent with some things. Some parts of the program will be consistent, like you do them every single week, right? You won't be doing the same workout every single day. That's not what I'm talking about. But what I am saying is some of the best results are doing the same program this week and next week and the next week and the next week and maybe the next week. And so, and then being able to track your progress along that process. And that's up to you. So let's say you get in here and you're like, okay, my bench press is 135 is my 10 rep max. Okay, well, 10 rep max may be associated with about 70% of your 1 rep max. Okay, which means, do the calculation, your 1 rep max is what is that? 205 maybe. I'm not sure. You'll have to do the math. Don't hold me to that. But let's say that your 1 rep max is 205, and let's say the next week you go to do 205 because for 1 rep, because last week you did 10 reps at 135, and the 70% calculation says that 205 is your 1 rep max. You throw that weight on there and you can't do it. Or you could do it for 4 reps. Well, then clearly 135 was probably not your 10 rep max. If you can do quite a bit more than that 1 rep calculation, it's likely that your 10 rep max was either miscalculated. You probably could have done reps in reserve was 5. And so your calculation has to be a little bit different. So there's some features in that we can dive deeper into to discuss. But for all intensive purposes, the program is going to be built out so that you have an exercise regimen for 4 days a week to be able to lift. Now, if you're doing 3 days a week, then you just either cut one of those days out every week, or you gap the days so that you're doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, let's say, but you have Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday as the scheduled program with us. And so, but you're doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so it's only 3 days. Then what you would do is your Monday would be Monday, your Tuesday would be Wednesday, okay? Your Thursday would be Friday, and the next Monday would be the next Monday. Does that make about as murky as a muddy water? Anyways, so the program will be built out for you to be able to accomplish 4 days of lifting every single week. That also leaves space. So like if you're doing, I really love 75 hard. And I understand that there are people out there, podcasters and influencers who talk so bad about 75 hard. I love it. Personally, when I've had the best control and understanding and clarity in my life is when I've adhered to that type of regimen. What that regimen requires is lifting or exercising twice a day, every single day for 75 days. So 4 days of lifting isn't going to accommodate for that, right? So if you've got 3 more days that you've got to do some lifting in, then those days you can do other things outside of that program. So at any rate, that's maybe too in depth in what I wanted to mention. Rest assured, you will receive the program from us. So change your program to what we're doing. Don't change it. You will get it from us. We want to ensure that people are getting the best out of this program, Abs by April. Abs by April will be run again next year, where we'll have a transformation challenge associated with Abs by April. And so then it'll just keep getting run, keep getting run. Looking forward, just as a side note, Rabbit Trail, I'm building out programs for the rest of the year so that when Abs by April finishes, we'll be announcing different programs. And I'm not going to say what they are, but I'm really excited about pursuing it this way because it really just follows the philosophy that we've built Muscle Factory on. And so there's different programs that are coming out to help people stay on track, stay on course, and actually be doing a little bit more to be a little bit healthier. And so that's kind of the basic philosophy of Muscle Factory USA and Functional Health Consultants, is to help people do that. Okay, so that's the program. And again, keep it stupid simple, or keep it simple stupid. Anyway, the program will be simple, but will get you results if you follow it. Okay. Nutrition planning is a very important tool when it comes to developing abs, abdominales, the section of the body that is below the pectoralis and above the nether regions. We call that the abs. So like, oh man, he's got washboard abs. Okay, that's those muscles right there. Now, everybody has those muscles. Everybody who can stand on 2 feet or sit on the edge of a bed has abs. Refute me on that. Everybody has abs. The problem is you've built some insulation around those abs. You've built some warming factor around those abs. You've built some padding around those abs. Okay, we call that padding usually is called fat. And so the goal with Abs by April is to help you change composition so that you can show that off a little bit better, a little bit more. Now, will you attain a 6-pack of abs? And I hope so. I hope the heck. There's really no reason. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to since opening Muscle Factory. Muscle Factory USA, that is. I can't tell you how many people mentioned, oh, I've just been watching what I eat and I've lost 15 pounds. And a lot of that comes from people having, 150 pounds to lose. And so by managing a little bit of their calorie intake, the pounds just start falling off. Some of that comes from being male. Some of that comes from being a premenopausal female. Some of that comes from being younger. Okay. And so there's a lot of factors that play into that, but simply managing and controlling a little bit of what you eat can change the course of that midsection of your body. Okay, that waistline measurement. Waistline measurement is part of the Abs by April. So if you go into the sign up, you'll see on there what you need to do, what you need to be emailing me at dr. Let's write that down. dr.ppt at Muscle Factory USA.org. Okay. So you can email me your picture, you can email me your measurements, your weight, waistline, all the things. And then as well, the squat, bench, deadlift numbers, and push. So whether you're doing for weight or for time or both, all of those things, you'll email to my, I don't know if you can see that with the lighting. Anyway, the email is dr.moser.dpt@musclefactoryusa.org. And the transcription is not reading that out correctly. The dot stands for like the period. You know how to do emails. Okay, program nutrition. So we're talking about this right now. This is a very important concept when it comes to nutrition. Okay. People get so wrapped up into different diet plans and regimens. They want keto, or they want Atkins. I don't think people follow Atkins anymore, but they want Weight Watchers. They want, what are some paleo? They want vegetarian. Whatever the thing is, people make this so complicated, and it doesn't need to be. Simply put, we can keep it stupid simple by a couple of things. And right here, you can see what those things are. Calories in, calories out. If you manage calories in and calories out correctly, then you should see some weight loss and body composition change. If you don't see body composition change and or weight loss, you are not managing calories in and calories out correctly. Okay? It, bar none, across the board, that is how it works. Your calorie expenditure has to exceed your caloric intake in order for you to lose weight, okay, mass weight. Now, when you get into maintaining muscle mass or some other factors, then it gets a little bit more litigious in trying to understand how to build muscle, but then also lose weight, which is a little bit counterproductive. But we can talk about that a little bit more extensively at another time. Calories in, calories out. The key here on managing calories in, calories out, one is keeping it simple. And then the other thing, the big thing that you have to manage is carbs, fats, and protein. Carbs, fats, and protein. Okay, this is what you're trying to manage. The simplest way to manage this is to focus on this one thing. Okay. And making it to where you're eating a gram of protein per pound of body weight. And so there's a lot of ways to slice and dice that, but let's just manage it that way, just to keep things very simple. Okay. If you were to do that, if you were to manage it in that way, the amount of protein that you would be eating, you really wouldn't have time for all the other stuff, the junk food and the drinking your calories. All of that business would be kind of nullified at that point. One last secret. We have very poor calculations on caloric expenditure. We don't calculate correctly our caloric expenditure. And unless you're able to be on a V.02 machine, when you're doing exercise, you can't really know how much calories you're expending every day. But what you can roughly calculate is your basal metabolic rate or your resting metabolic rate is what I think they're calling it these days, is resting metabolic rate. And that's this calculation over here. I don't know if you can see that, but I'll read it out to you. For men, the calculation is a little bit different than for women. For males, it's different than for females. For people with a penis, it's different than for people with a vagina. Okay, so that's the distinction there. Okay, so what this calculation reads is, for men, you take your body weight in pounds and you multiply it by 4.38. You add that to 14.55 times your height in inches. Then you subtract 5.08 times your age. Then you add 260, and then that will give you your resting metabolic rate. What this calculation means in the most basic of terms is how much calories you burn if you were to lay around all day long. Now, some of you might be pleased with the number because it suggests that you can just consume that many calories and your body burns that off and everything's even, right? Or you might see that and go, well, I can eat a pack of Skittles and get, I don't know what the calories are on a pack of Skittles. I don't really eat Skittles. I love Skittles, but I just don't. Anyway. But again, so sugar, you're taking a ton of sugar and then thinking because you're keeping it within this basal metabolic rate that all is well. And that's just not the case. And so let's not complicate any of this. Let's keep it stupid simple. Okay. And let's remember that we're going to calculate out our basal metabolic rate. We're going to underestimate how many calories we're burning. And in fact, what I would do if I was playing it really, really ridiculously safe is I wouldn't even calculate the calories that I'm burning. Okay? If you really want to get some hard results, some real results in your near future, I wouldn't even consider calculating that. I would manage hardcore how many calories I'm taking in, which we do have decent calculations on. And then I would just compensate that with the resting metabolic rate. So that's how I do that. For women, the modifier numbers are a little different. And so you would multiply your pounds and body weight by 3.35. You would add that to 15.42 times your height in inches. You would subtract 5.08 times your age. You would add 43, and then that would be that. So that's how that would go. That's what we're doing with that. Okay. So I took my eyes off the screen and my thing went completely blank. So, but we're still live. Okay. So that's basal metabolic rate. That's calories in, calories out. Again, the basic sense is if you're not seeing a composition change, so let's say you measure your waist, let's say you measure your hips, let's say you measure your thighs, let's say you measure your arms, and you're not seeing that change, then you're miscalculating your calories in and calories out. That's how that works. So that's pretty much what I have for you today. So Abs by April, get signed up through the app. You also can just click, there's a link that I put on one of our stories here today that we're talking about the broadcast today. So on the link on the stories, you can click on that and it takes you to the registration. So if you want a friend of yours that lives in Timbuktu to join as well, they can. They follow that link. And if they're not a member of Muscle Factory USA, there's a $20 fee and you're in every single week. If there's any trouble with getting signed up or getting your friends signed up, just let me know. If you have any issues where it's like trying to bill you every week or whatever with each broadcast, let me know, because it's not supposed to do that. So at any rate, Abs by April, you can still sign up. You can sign up through the entire time. Now, obviously, if you sign up later, you have less time to accomplish the goal or see the change that you want to have occur. And so Abs by April. Okay, so that's the goal. Abs by April. We'll talk about breathe, bend, balance, bounce as we go along. This is a physical therapy concept by Gray Cook. And honestly, he just mentioned that he used that in a sports program with a youth volleyball team. And I've loved it ever since I heard it. Breathe, bend, balance, bounce. And it's a wonderful progression to consider when you're having any kind of problems with the exercises as part of your program. If you're having issues doing the movement, if you're having pain, if the movement feels weird, if you feel awkward, like you think you look weird doing it, which there's some exercises that just inherently are weird looking, but if that's the case, then there's something going on as you move backwards through this progression. Your basic function is breathing. Then we start moving a little bit and we bend our joints, right? Then we balance those joints in specific movement patterns that keep us either standing upright, half kneeling, walking, okay? Which is actually more of a balance thing, but balance keeps us stable in our movements, okay? And then bounce, referring to plyometric movement, but not just plyometrics as a performance base, but like I said, walking is more of a bouncing movement. You're bounding from foot to foot. Running would be a bounce. All of that good fun stuff. So, anyways, we can talk more in depth about that concept as we move along. Maybe at a future live, we can talk about that. So. Okay, so get signed up. Email me, dr.moser.dpt@musclefactoryusa.org, O-R-G. Program, nutrition, and let's get going, people. Let's do a little bit more to be a little healthier.